Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Nerds and Lore podcast. We are back after a small hiatus. I know that for me personally, I started a new job and it was stressing me the hell out, so I needed some time to collect my brain. So that's a sad intro. Welcome. I am host number one, Matt, and joining me as always is host number two,
Nick.
And today we're going to be trying to discuss Moon Knight and the full collective series, since all the episodes have come out in the time we were on hiatus. And then also talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, some of our thoughts, feelings, concerns on that. And then if we have any sort of time at all, maybe talk about, we'll probably do a little brief catch up at the start here about where we've been, what we've been up to. So, Nick, how the hell you doing? We haven't recorded in a hot minute.
No, we haven't. Thanks for asking, Matt. It's been, I think, a month and a half now. So, I mean, how much can a life change in 45 days? I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, it's true. Yeah, life's been good. It's been relatively active at my local church, working at my job, hanging out with various people. Yeah, it's been a fun few months. I'm a little burnt out, a little exhausted, but it's always good to talk to Matt and talk about nerdy. I think it's going to be Marvel stuff today, so it's always exciting.
Marvel today. So
yeah. How about you? How have you been?
I've definitely been better in the last couple of weeks. I know that work, I've gotten into a better groove, kind of moving into things and having a better idea of what I'm doing, what my role is, all that, getting to know some people. I actually work with some people that are closer to my age in this particular job. So it's nice having people to talk about nerdy stuff like this, and I know a lot of it is D&D related with one of them, but I'm not a D&D player, but I fully appreciate the people who do play D&D. So I'm D&D light. So, but no, it's been good. Been doing a lot of 3D printing, beat Elden Ring. And so I'm starting up another playthrough of that. And let's see, what other important things? Right, my marriage is good. And
the most important thing for you.
Elden Ring, marriage.
Yeah, I recently began Breath of the Wild again, so I'm playing that a little bit. Fun game.
That's so good. Yeah, since we're gonna have to wait until, let's see, did Breath of the Wild get pushed to later this year, or did it get pushed to 23 as well? I'm trying to remember. I thought I remember Breath of the Wild 2 getting pushed, because I know that like everything that was going to come out this year has been pushed.
Yeah. Yeah, when I just did a quick Google search, it now says 2023, spring 2023.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, because I remember being really upset by that. And I was like, well, at least I have Starfield to look forward to. And then that got
pushed as well, right? As well. Yeah. Well, they also didn't another game recently get pushed too. I thought there's another game that got pushed.
There was Redfall, which
it was the Jedi game that got pushed.
Was it Jedi Fallen Order?
Yes,
2?
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order 2 got pushed.
Oh, did it really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
God damn it. Well, that's just more time for Elden Ring, I suppose.
Yeah.
I have like a million games I need to play too. So, and I've learned apparently I'm gonna have to pick up a PS5 to be able to play. My wife is incredibly excited for Gotham Knights, and that game just had its last gen options get cut from the lineup, so it's only going to be available on PS5 and like Xbox One, maybe PC. If it's available on PC, then fuck it, I'm not buying a PS5. But anyway, we should get on to the main events of the day. So do you have a preference which one we start with, Moon Knight or Doctor Strange?
Let's start with Moon Knight, because I feel like it's less exciting of a topic. So
yeah,
then like our audience can be excited to hear what our impressions of Doctor Strange were.
Yeah. We can build up that anticipation.
Yeah, I'm already anticipating it.
Yeah, okay, so Moon Knight. I don't know. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll just lay it all out there. For
Mhm.
the most part, I was entertained, though I think the middle section of it was a little slow.
Mhm.
The CGI in parts was not great. I thought, especially with anything with Moon Knight, was pretty mediocre CGI. But Moon Knight, honestly, Moon Knight, the character, the superhero character, you didn't really see him that much. It was mostly Mark and
Yeah.
Steven. Steven was, I think, the best part of it, probably. He was, I mean, the prospect of Steven interacting with other Marvel heroes is kind of fun to think about for sure. I thought the psychological stuff was really fun. I honestly think the best episode was episode one. I really
Really?
liked episode one a lot, and I liked the finale too. I think the finale and episode one were my favorites.
Yeah.
But I think it honestly, I think it tried to do too much
Mhm.
for the for what it was doing. There was a little bit too much, I think. So I would have
Sure.
liked them just to pick an idea and go with that instead of going like, oh, like, well, spoilers.
Yeah, I
There's
guess I
this,
should say spoilers at the
yeah,
top.
adventure in Egypt. Oh, now there's a psychological thing. Now we have like
Mhm.
Khonshu, who we barely got to know, is like having this like feud with other Egyptian gods. Oh, then we have like a kaiju battle at the end of it. Oh, he has a love interest. There's just all this stuff I felt like interesting, but I think it was a little bit too much altogether. I think they should have maybe cut the love interests, or and maybe just stuck to the UK instead of
Mhm.
going to Egypt personally. But overall, I liked it. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10. But
Wow, that's so much
yeah,
lower than I would have thought.
excited for the character more than the show itself.
Man. So, I thought they personally did a pretty decent job of juggling everything, though I will agree that I think the love interest was I didn't I think the love interest was okay in the show. What I think they should have done is cut out the bit where there was any kind of conflict between Steven and Mark regarding their love interest, which, geez, it's been
Yeah,
a
see,
minute.
that
What's
was
her
her
name?
character.
Um,
Didn't really have like, to me, a compelling personality.
Layla, of course. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, like I thought Layla was a very interesting character because Layla was like a perfectly suitable like protector of herself and others without the like Egyptian superpowers she was given later, and taking on what's her face as her like Egyptian god avatar.
The hippo.
Yeah, the hippo. But that being said, I think because they introduced this notion of like Steven and Layla having a romance separate to that from Mark, which I think is a really interesting notion. But then all of that just went away, which, like, given it's appropriate for them to fucking ignore that given the context. But I think it's weird for that not to have a conclusion by the end of the show.
Yeah.
Like, I think introducing that and then not touching on it again at all was really weird. Um, but outside of that, I thought they did a really good job of integrating this like psychological component. Not to mention like the huge bomb that they kind of hinted on earlier in the show. Steven and Mark would have moments where they were both like, what did you do? And finding out that there was, in fact, a third personality hunkering around inside of Mark Stevens' head this whole time, named Jake. And you got like various small snippets of him throughout the show that you wouldn't have noticed unless you were like really paying attention. Like, the only one that I thought was a little weird initially on my first viewing was when he was initially in the doctor's office, the doctor version of Harrow's office. And when he was like threatening him with like the desk ornament or whatever it was,
Mm.
like that was definitely a Jake moment, right? Like his accent was a little different, and I only like really took it in all the way upon a second viewing. But
Yeah, it made me more excited for the future of the character, like I was saying,
mhm.
than necessarily some of what we actually got. But yeah, I'm excited for the Moon Knight character to continue on and have interactions with
Mhm.
more characters within the MCU. So yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I think, like, I will say, I think there's something really, it's interesting, but I also think it's a little complicated to have a character who's like pretty actively has multiple personality disorder, and it's just a part of who they are now. Like, is that inclusive, or is this an unrealistic take on like how a person with like the actual disorder might view? Because I don't think we actively in the real world are like, oh yeah, no, just let Steven come out to play. We'll talk to him for a bit. Like that's not a thing that's done, is it? Like I feel like that seems unlikely. So I do have some qualms with that, just from like from an outside looking in, not being all too familiar with like how mental health is handled in that context. It's like, should we like really be championing a character who like embraces an alternate personality that they created to deal with trauma? I don't know. Um, but I also love Steven, the character, and like given the context of how he came about, you can hardly blame Mark, right, for like looking for an escape from what was his horrible mother in the context of the show. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's a really cool concept, but I I have some mixed emotions on it, and I'm sure there are people who might have more well-informed opinions than me. But
yeah. I'm really excited for Marvel to build out their like Universal Monsters section of their universe. So because we got the Mummy essentially with Moon Knight. We have Witch with Agatha and Scarlet Witch. We have a werewolf coming out with what was it? What is that? There's a werewolf Halloween special coming out this for Marvel this October.
is there
No,
really
is Werewolf by Night? I think is what it's called. Yeah,
Werewolf by Night?
yeah. And then obviously we have Vampire and Blade, and then
Oh yeah, that's right.
Dane Whitman is also I think going to be kind of included in that. So there's a lot of fun like dark elements that I'm excited to see them explored for like maybe like a Midnight Suns team up or something.
Oh, that'd be so
So
cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for more because I didn't realize it, but I guess at the end of Eternals, the like post-credit scene when Kit Harington, Black Knight, is
mhm.
about to handle the sword. Apparently, that is Blade. That
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
speaking to him.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe we've touched on that.
Mahershala
But
Ali.
yeah,
That's who they
Mahershala
got
Ali,
to voice it.
which is I think a little complicated having him just as an actor, having him stand in as Blade. I guess to be fair, his character that he played in Luke Cage
Yeah.
is dead.
I kind of see like that as being a different universe now than the actual MCU.
Well, see, but then that gets more complicated then, because wasn't Daredevil kind of like retconned into the MCU through
Yeah, but
Spider-Man?
we don't really know if the MCU's Daredevil is the same exact one as the one from the Netflix shows. He could also be a variant of the Netflix shows, technically.
Well, okay. Well, then what about Kingpin? Then
Exactly.
wasn't that confirmed? Like that Kingpin was the version from the show.
See, I don't know if it maybe he did say something that's like same exact one, but I kind of leaning towards like they are variants with a similar history, but they're not exactly the same ones.
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause, I
I'd
mean,
be
even
okay with.
if we're gonna go with Doctor Strange, we're gonna talk about like they have Black Bolt in that film, right?
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
that's the
I
same
mean,
actor that played him in that show that they did. What the fuck? I can't think of the name of the show. It's a really terrible show. It was by the same guy who did Iron Fist, Scott Buck. Oh,
there was a show with Black Bolt in it. Really? Already?
yeah. It was not well received at all, and their characters Inhumans. Sorry, there we go.
Oh.
Yeah, he played Black Bolt in the Inhumans. So they brought him back for that Doctor Strange movie.
Well,
which is
that's
interesting.
actually that is
Vincent
very
Mount,
interesting.
I think is his name. It's something like that.
Yeah. Oh man, the costuming in this show is
I mean, it was one of those Marvel television programs. That was before Kevin Feige was really involved with it. But
I see.
still interesting that they brought him back for it. So
I mean, I guess to be fair, like if like, hey, we're gonna bring a character back from this one terrible show. Which one should we bring back? How about the one that never fucking talked? Perfect.
I think I mean, if we're gonna move on to Doctor Strange, we can. I think he did a pretty good job. I wouldn't be sad if I would be not sad if they brought him back as Black Bolt in the MCU.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I guess we're gonna roll straight into Doctor Strange.
Well,
here.
okay, before we do, on
yeah.
a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being dog shit, 10 being amazing. I was gonna try and think of another dog metaphor, but let's go.
Dog face, because dog face.
Dog ass first dog face. You know what I'm saying? 1 to 10 on a scale of 1 to 10.
No, I mean, like I know that you said like 6.5 out of 7. I would give it closer like like an 8.5 to 9.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, I liked it, but I wasn't like, this is when I think of like an 8 or 9, especially 9 out of 10, like I think of it as like something that honestly, like I'm gonna watch this again. Like I think it's amazing. Well, I don't know if I want to watch again. Something that really changed my outlook or like made me really feel something really deeply. But I will recognize the show for its entertainment qualities, but I don't think it was the best constructed piece of entertainment. But I am excited where the character's going.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to see more. I thought Oscar Isaac did a fantastic job. He's given his range, or like you get an idea of what his range is like, being able to switch between Steven, Mark, and Jake even further, like all these different accents and character. Yeah, I thought it was a fantastic show. I really want to see more. I'm bummed out. My regret is I have to wait for more. All right. So that being said, rolling in to Doctor Strange, we've already been talking about Black Bolt. So more spoilers. What are you even doing here? But yeah, the multiverse thing just exploded in this movie, right? Like, I mean, it was one thing to be seeing like a combination of all these different Spider-Men in the Spider-Man movie that came out, No Way Home, but like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was just like, oh, we're just gonna go ahead and canonically introduce into the movies 6 different characters who haven't ever been seen on film before, because you got Black Bolt, Peggy Carter, I mean, like the huge one that I think a lot of people, my crowd in our theater audibly was like, oh, Jim Halpert, when Reed Richards appeared on screen. Like, and then I like an even bigger bombshell, like Professor Xavier, like Patrick Stewart fucking rolling his ass out.
The thing that got me about that was they used the freaking theme song from that animated show when he came out.
I know.
That's what I'm like, oh fuck yeah.
I know.
Yeah, that was what really got me. And he was in that old like yellow you know, I don't want to say like wheelchair or whatever it is
thing.
Yeah, like, from the animated show back in the
so 90s. Fantastic.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, like, we barely even got a chance to like really see most of these characters. Like, you got to see them on screen. I was actually seeing some interesting discourse about, I was talking to Evan about this morning, even about like why the Illuminati, as they were introduced, not just like killing Scarlet Witch like on sight when like Wanda came marching in, looking like a freaking sideshow psychopath, just like covered in blood. You're like, yeah, of course they didn't murder her on sight. Like, that's their friend. Like, Wanda's a human with like children in their world, and that's not her.
Yeah,
that's not her that they're fighting. Like, are people like, why did they just nuke her on the spot? Like, yeah, Black Bolt could have just like I'm here for my and like murdered her there, but then they would have killed Wanda. Like, I don't know. But that being said, what are some of your takes on like the movie as a whole? I guess. I mean, like it seems like a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the initial controversy behind it was that there was so many rumors about what this film was going to be and how many cameos it was going to have. I think there was actually a lot of some disappointment on what the cameos actually ended up being. I'm not saying that's for me. I think the biggest thing for me is I just love the Sam Raimi influences in this film. Sam Raimi of Evil Dead and the first Spider-Man trilogy.
Yeah.
It was just, you could feel it all over that film, and I loved it. I thought that part was really cool. I'm glad that Marvel actually got to they've done this in the past, but let the filmmaker really put his fingerprints all over the film.
Right.
And it feels different than any other MCU movie, really.
Mhm.
There's nothing quite like this. And I really dug some of the choices they made with it. I dug like the weird musical note battle. I dug the weird zombie,
I know,
like
I love that.
Doctor Strange going into the zombie Doctor Strange. I thought that was really fun. Yeah, and I thought actually the first hour of it, weirdly enough, I think I was the most engaged. Like that scene where he goes between universes with America Chavez.
Yeah.
That was really, really cool. And I was kind of almost expecting more of that, like insanity to go forward, because we're in the multiverse of madness, right? So I was thinking they were going to actually hop between universes more than they did. And see some really crazy stuff. And I think the reason maybe why they didn't is because they're saving it for, I mean, spoiler, Secret Wars, because Clea shows up at the end of the movie and kind of says
Right.
there was an incursion. So I'm thinking that we're building towards something, and there's going to be like this great event. The next Avengers movie is going to be probably a big multiversal war, would be my assumption. But overall, it took me a while with this one, like initially coming out of it. I was a little like, I knew I liked it, but I don't know really how much I liked it. But the further I get away from it, I really dig it a lot, actually. I'm really happy that Sam Raimi got to do some wacky, weird stuff. I also love Wanda in the movie. I love Wanda's arc.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love that,
Yeah, like-
Wanda is just like, I'm trying to talk really fast. I know we're on a time limit, but I think Elizabeth Olsen is just freaking amazing. She's so good. Like I know there's also controversy about her arc from WandaVision, like not really making, like it kind of seemed like it came out of nowhere. It worked for me because of the Darkhold, and also
Yeah.
they name dropped Chthon. I don't know if I'm saying that name right. When they went to Wondervore or whatever the mountain was.
Oh yeah, where the temple for the Darkhold was.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping that gets to be explored a little bit more. And I think it will, maybe with Agatha's show that's coming out next year. But yeah, so in general, I really liked it. I'm excited to see again where it's all going. I guess complaints. I do kind of think Doctor Strange kind of got overshadowed in his own movie. I think the middle section drags just a little bit. I think they could have done some more. I don't know. I know, like in the middle section, like because I went with someone who's not an MCU fan, and you can always kind of tell when like things are like kind of like
just going straight over their head. Yeah.
Like the beginning of it's like, and then it slows down, and then the end's like goes off again. So I think maybe could have paced it a little bit more in the middle, but sure. I liked it. I would give it a 8 out of 10.
Yeah, no, I was a huge fan of, I mean, honestly, like I thought the pacing was great. Like I wanted them to go slower in sections where it was going to be really emotionally impactful. You know, like Strange meeting another version of Christine that like, you know, had an attraction with him, but like clearly like hadn't gotten along with the Strange of her universe ultimately, or they never quite figured out what they were. But like the different versions of Strange that we like kind of met, and I loved Zombie Strange so much. Like that was such a cool. It's like who said they had to be alive? Like,
and the CGI was really sweet too in that.
So like good, yeah.
Like his weird like cape with all the
making that cape out of the skeleton,
and that was so Sam Raimi too. Like just the way the spirits were acting, like I love that. Yeah.
Just so like it almost had like a goblin-esque kind of like
that's what
to them.
That's what I like. I like the gremlin-esque. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, like I really thought they did a great job of introducing these characters, because like ultimately like the movie's called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The characters that we were going to be introduced to were going to be just cameos in the show. And that's fine. Like, we got some cool action sequences out of it, like getting to see Peggy Carter run around, like just doing her thing with like just being Captain America, but woman, was really, really great.
Yeah.
Also really enjoy how like I can do this all day got integrated. And then like 17 seconds later, she's fucking
Split in
dead.
half.
Just like fucking brutal. I
Yeah.
loved how brutal this movie was.
Yeah, I
And
love that
think,
too.
I think that's something that was like setting up like the fact that it's a multiverse movie means that like these are versions of the characters that aren't necessarily like permanent fixtures quite yet. They're versions.
Yeah.
Like I highly doubt this is the last time we see like of course Reed Richards. But like even Peggy Carter, Professor X, Black Bolt, like any of them, like I highly doubt this is the last time we're gonna see them.
At least
But this will
maybe these versions of them.
these versions, it's definitely the last time because they're
Spoilers,
all
yeah.
because I love that moment. I audibly was like, when Black Bolt's mouth disappeared and he tried using his powers anyway, and just like,
that was straight up out of like The Boys or
yeah, right,
Invincible
like
or
really,
something.
that whole scene had just like gritty, like real world.
Yeah, actually, it really reminded me of, and we are down to 10 minutes here, which good enough. It reminded me of that like scene at the end of the first episode of Invincible, where like Omni-Man just massacres the rest of the team essentially.
Right. Yeah, just so I love the energy because Wanda was a straight up like movie, like scary movie villain. Like it felt like a horror movie.
She was a straight Sam Raimi villain.
Yeah, like well, and you can really see that on like that effect on Willem Dafoe's Goblin revamp for the new Spider-Man movie, right? Like he clearly was channeling old Goblin energy from the Sam Raimi version of himself to like be so brutal, right? Like he did not fuck around with Spider-Man. He was always just like hammering him as much as he could and trying to mess with his brain. It's like, this is just so freaking cool. And like not wanting to like spoil every movie that's come out in the last year, but I'll leave it at that. But yeah, like getting to see all these characters was amazing. I was a huge fan of the movie. I definitely give it like a 9 out of 10 in terms of my scaling. Like I just want more. I want more of this. Like they've been fantastic movies. And yeah, you're right. Like Sam Raimi's fingerprint is all over this. Like it has a unique feel to it. It's different. And like the Doctor Strange movies usually are like quite different in their tone. But this one, like really, like the fact that like Zombie Strange was able to like evoke such emotion from me anyway, like talking to America Chavez and like conveying like it's like you just gotta believe in yourself. It's gonna be fine. Like it's like meanwhile it's like just yeah, so good. Yeah, I want more of this. I'm really excited for the next phasing of what's going on in Marvel.
Yeah, I really hope Wanda isn't dead. I mean, I don't think she is. You don't really know, but I loved how they allowed her to be so villainous in this movie. That she was brutal as all get out, and I love that they let that happen. Because they could have been like, they could have reeled that back, and they didn't. They just let it happen, and I'm like, yes. I mean, she should be violent, you know, like
yeah. Well, yeah. Like I think if there's anything that like all these movies have really kind of taught us is that movies and shows, like especially with the inception of the Disney Plus shows, that grief can do terrible things to your mind and your perception on how you see the world, and like how getting to your goal is not going to ultimately make you happy. You know, like Wanda's coming forward, like she technically could have taken what she wanted. Like she got to her kids in person. And they were terrified of her because of course they were. Like, and we all knew that, but she didn't. She was just like, I'm just gonna be mom now. What's the big deal? And
yeah,
like clearly that was not an option. And so, but yeah, no, I thought this movie did a really great job of evoking all the right emotions at the right time. I am curious to see like what the hell they're gonna finally do with Mordo, like our Mordo.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of think okay, that would maybe be a criticism I have for it. I don't think Mordo was really that great of a character in the film.
Mhm.
I don't think he was that compelling for what it's worth. But I
Yeah,
guess
no.
in earlier versions of this, they cut a scene where Wanda actually killed Mordo at the beginning of this movie. Um,
Oh, interesting.
but they didn't.
You
So
mean
he's
like
still in.
our Mordo, or
Mhm,
really?
mhm.
See, that just like that would be such a letdown for me to
And
have
there's
his.
probably a reason why they did it, So
Yeah,
uh,
because like I think he'll be a really interesting villain at some point, or at least like an anti-hero.
yeah, he does have anti-hero vibes,
Yeah,
totally.
he doesn't like Strange, but he understands that like he's got to do something to help him to save the multiverse or the universe or whatever. Like,
Since we're down to the last 5 minutes, is there anything else you want to talk about? I guess we could really, since we're on Marvel Kick, we could talk about the Thor trailer and what you think of that. But
yeah,
yeah. Or
I
the
mean,
Avatar trailer, The Way of Water. Are you kidding me?
I just don't. I
We don't have to
cease
talk
caring.
about that. Yeah, we don't
No,
have to do that. Who cares?
no, that yeah,
Probably gonna be
that's
the
my
best movie I've ever
review.
seen
Is
in my
who
life.
fucking cares?
But there was something I saw on Reddit. It's like James Cameron in water is like Quentin Tarantino in women's feet.
Yeah, I just like I'm sorry. It's years too late. I'm sorry. Like when even did the original Avatar release?
I'm gonna say 2007.
You're close. It was '09.
Oh nine. Okay.
So over 10 years ago, and you're
Yeah.
asking me to give a
Let's
fuck
let's
again?
dial back the whole over 10 years ago thing being 2009. I don't like that kind of talk.
Yeah. I don't like that kind of talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, I just don't care anymore. Like I thought the original movie was an interesting thing, but I
Yeah.
I could be fucked to care that a sequel's coming out now.
Don't get me wrong. I'm probably not going to see it in theater, and maybe it's going to get amazing reviews. If it does, I'll probably go see it. But
Yeah.
if it has like mediocre reviews, like no effing way am I going to sit down in a seat for 3 hours to watch a movie. I'm not really that interested in. Thor, I think looks hilarious. Like I'm so excited. There's like one line in that trailer. He's like, "These were the hands of a warrior, but now they're the hands of like just a humble man or something."
Right.
Like, his delivery of it makes me laugh so hard.
I
It's
just like
so ridiculous.
looking at the ones you love.
Oh yeah, and he like he comes. Yeah.
Just slowly sliding into frame. So fucking funny. Yeah. No, I'm excited to see. I know I've heard some potential criticism about so in that like we're getting into deep water in terms of my knowledge on Marvel. In that I don't have it. Um, but so I guess the storyline with Jane Foster being Thor is generally a separate and different storyline than Gaul the God Killer, right?
I think it's Gore.
Gore, is it Gore? It probably is
Yeah, I
Gore.
mean, but the MCU does that all the time. So
Yeah, and so like that's why I'm really nonplussed by it. It's like they'll probably do a good job of integrating the story, and the fan criticism will show that if they don't do a good job. So
let's just say I'm very excited for it. I'm excited to go to the theaters and have a blast and just laugh a lot. The quote is, "These hands are once used for battle. Now they're but humble tools for peace."
Yeah.
It's so dumb. It's like I want to use that one. They're but humble tools for peace. I don't know, just so stupid.
Something about that.
It's like a Taika Waititi line too. I could totally see that being in like one of his things. If you're interested in a show, just popped in my head that's by Taika Waititi. It's called Our Flag Means Death. It's on HBO Max. I think you might like that one. It goes places I was definitely not expecting it to go.
Cool.
But Taika Waititi he plays Blackbeard in it. Okay, we're down to the last minute and a half essentially. Any closing remarks?
Yeah, I fucking love Moon Knight. I fucking love Doctor Strange.
And I fucking love you, Nick.
And I fucking love you, man. I fucking love you. No, I'm really happy with both these things. Like Moon Knight was fantastic. Doctor Strange is everything I wanted. It was a great movie to see for my birthday. I want more. I'm looking forward to the future projects that are coming, as if that's any different than any other thing we've seen through Marvel. We should have an episode where we just like watch a shitty movie and give it like a
Yeah.
real.
Well, the
thorough
last
review.
one we did with all the trailers we watched got a copyright claim on it. I don't know if it's still up or not. I was kind of wondering if it did.
Really?
Yeah, if it was going to. So,
Boy,
just dumb because like they're trailers, right?
do
Anyway,
they know that we're not making any money on this, or are they?
I don't know. I think it just gets flagged by their algorithm or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
We gotta be good about using clips and stuff, I guess. Fine, whatever.
it's a trailer,
Anyway.
it's like dumb, like it's free promotion for them.
We're getting a less than 1 minute left. So,
Yeah.
any closing thoughts from you?
Not really. It's always great to talk to you. I'm excited. I think the most for Thor that's coming out. I guess Miss Marvel is coming out. I don't know. We'll see.
We're
And
speedrunning the end of this
Kenobi.
here.
Kenobi. That's what I'm
Kenobi.
excited for. So,
That'll be super exciting to watch.
yeah.
Want to thank you all for joining us today for this episode of the Nerds of the North podcast. We're trying to get used to a 40-minute time limit on these videos, and so we thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
I love you guys. Thanks for watching.